I would like to welcome you to my channel, KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Today I will show you how to make an exceptionally tasty and filling Lebanese Muhammara, a red pepper and walnut spread, which you can enjoy with my pita chips or one of my flatbread recipes such as my grain-free pita 2 ways, and the Muhammara is also a perfect spread on my falafel flatbread. All of these options are a great way to enjoy the wonderful blend of flavors that are a combination of savory, sweet, slightly smoky, with just enough spiciness to create a very light but complex burst of flavors in your mouth. And if you like my videos and want to show your support, please give it a like, share with someone that you think might also enjoy this recipe, and watch all the way to the end for more recommendations and tips. And for more snack ideas, I suggest you click on my end cards, which I've selected especially to go with this recipe. The macronutrient ratio for the Muhammara red pepper and walnut spread is 4.3 to 1, with 8.8 grams of total carbs, 3.7 grams of soluble fiber, 0.5 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in 4.6 grams of net carbs per 1/4 cup or 75-gram serving. As I mentioned in the intro, this is a very easy recipe to make and you use only healthy whole ingredients. So let's get started. Begin by preheating your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. Next, I cut the bell pepper into halves or thirds, remove the seeds and the little bit of white skin on the inside. Place the bell pepper sections, cut side down, onto my parchment lined baking sheet. Put the tray in the upper third position of my preheated oven and bake for about 30 to 40 minutes, or until the outer skin of the bell pepper or capsicum has started to blacken and blister, at which point remove from the oven and let cool so that you can handle those roasted bell peppers. After you've put the bell peppers into the oven to roast for 30 or 40 minutes, you have enough time to do a few more prep steps. To continue with my fresh ingredients, I first cut my fresh lemon in half and squeeze out the juice. And when you have squeezed out enough lemon juice, set the bowl aside for a moment. Next, using the small holes of a box grater, I'm going to grate the fresh cloves. Or if you have one of those garlic presses, you can use that. What you want is enough grated or minced garlic to fill a tablespoon, and then set that aside. And while your bell peppers continue to roast in the oven, you also have time to dry roast the walnuts. To dry roast the walnuts, simply place a dry frying pan or crepe pan, as I'm using, set over medium-low heat. Then heat the pan, and when you notice that the pan is starting to get nice and hot, distribute the walnuts on the surface in a single layer. Leave them to dry roast for a couple minutes, and after which point you toss them carefully so the other side can also get nicely roasted. You will know the walnuts are well roasted and ready, so you can stop roasting them. At this point, immediately remove the pan from the stove top, because you have to be really careful not to overcook and burn your walnuts. Toss the walnuts into the blender or food processor immediately. Since that only took a few minutes, you will also have time to add all the other ingredients into your blender or food processor. And that's the olive oil, the fresh lemon juice you squeezed earlier, whole psyllium husk, grated garlic, and the cumin powder, sweet paprika, and salt. If you want to give a bit of kick to your Muhammara and make it a little bit hotter, you can at this point also add the red pepper flakes or the Alapo flakes. This will not overpower the other flavors, but give it just a little bit of spice and heat. Here you have an option, and that is to use some pomegranate molasses for a more authentic flavor, but you don't have to use it. It just adds another layer of flavor. You should decide for yourself if you want to add the pomegranate molasses or not. I know that the pomegranate molasses has some natural sugars in it, and that may not suit you, so I leave the decision up to you. But just in case you do want to make it more authentic or can tolerate that tiny bit of extra sugar, I have included the pomegranate molasses in my macro calculations I cited earlier. And that's all the prep there is other than the red bell peppers. When your bell peppers are nicely roasted and a bit blistered on the skin, remove the tray from the oven and let the bell peppers cool completely so you can handle them easily and safely. That should only take a few minutes. And the way that I like to roast it, the skin is not completely charred black. I prefer a mild smoky flavor, not a burned taste. That is one of the reasons I don't char my bell peppers on the stovetop, as so many YouTubers have shown in their videos. I also believe that there are real reasons why we should not overchar our foods. It's not healthy, due to the heavily charred foods potentially being carcinogenic. And the whole purpose of this channel is to provide healthy, nutritious recipes for you. Now, it's really easy to peel off the blistered skin. I recommend starting at either end of the bell pepper wedge, get a hold of the skin, and just gently peel from one end to the other. Then repeat this and do it for all the wedges of your roasted peppers. You don't need the peeled skin, so just discard that. Once you have removed the skin from all the bell peppers, now it's time to toss the peeled peppers into a blender or food processor with the rest of your ingredients. I begin by using the ice setting because the intermittent pulses help to chop up and better puree the walnuts. But even with this setting, I do have to stop and press down the content once in a while. There are two ways to present your Muhammara, and that will depend how long you decide to puree. If you like a coarser texture and a little bit of grittiness, stop when you feel it's at the right texture for you. Or you can puree to a relatively smooth texture or keep pureeing to a fairly smooth consistency. I have to admit, I prefer the smoother version. When you've reached the texture that you like, transfer the Muhammara spread into a serving bowl. Before serving, it's customary to make a few ripples in the top of the Muhammara and drizzle some olive oil on top. For presentation purposes, I like to garnish with a couple walnut halves, like this. And the Muhammara is ready to be served. But if you have any left over or you're not going to use it right away, I strongly suggest you cover the surface with a cling wrap. This will keep the surface from drying out. Or you can store in an airtight container in your fridge for several days. If you do refrigerate your Muhammara, before serving, place the dip on your counter so that it can come to room temperature, which will allow the flavors to come through to their best advantage. This is a very versatile spread, so here are a few more suggestions. As I have already mentioned, you can serve the spread with my pita chips or with a soft, warm pita. One of my favorite ways is also to serve it with slices of the seedless English cucumber. As I keep emphasizing, this spread really has an amazing flavor, and it's an excellent topping to put on roasted chicken or fish. I hope you will give this great tasting, nutritious, and dense spread a try. But one serving of this spread also has a substantial amount of vitamins B6, E, K, and an exceptionally high portion of a daily amount of vitamin A. I hope the information I've provided in this video is of interest and useful to you. So please leave me a comment and let me know what you think of the spread, or just comments in general, or say hi. I love hearing from you. Until next time, have a very happy and healthy day. Cheers!